So, this is a video on origins of sacred masculinity in relation to the moon. Today we have the societal belief of the moon being a feminine construct. There's also beliefs of the moon being controlling. There's also beliefs of the moon and all kinds of stories of sacrifice, valor, or being in touch with the cycles of the waters. In the earliest traditions, in the Indus Valley, the moon was associated with the Lord of the Waters. And we see this in the control of the tides. And that there is control of the waters when the tide rises and when the tide lowers. The sun was associated with holding the central position, kind of feminine in its construct because it held the family like a mother of a home and brings forth the family and brings a household. We enter into the sun's family, into the solar system. And the solar aspect also represents the wandering free form through the heavenly realms. So free will and the fire element of the spirit that traverses these heavenly realms, which we see in this mythology of one of the oldest stories. This one comes from the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian story of creation, where the god Marduk, he represents the son of another son who comes into the solar system, and he goes to battle against Kingu, the moon. And this is because Kingu, the moon, who is the firstborn of Tiamat, the prototype of the Great Mother, he's given command and exalted to a high status to bring order to the sun's family of the solar system. The other planets in the solar system do not like that. They say that Marduk should be our leader and that Kingu has command over us. He shouldn't have this role. Kingu also means the unskilled laborer, because unrightfully he is exerting this command. But Kingu arises as the firstborn and protector of the Great Mother, and under the wishes of the Great Mother, he is ready to go to war and battle against Marduk. And with 11 of his other brothers and sisters and a host of army of many creatures, he goes to war against Marduk. Marduk tells his compatriots, "And if I'm to do battle for you, you are to make me the exalted leader. Assemble together and declare my legacy supreme. Bow unto my command." They all agree that we will honor Marduk as our leader, Amaru, and protect us, please, from Tiamat and her angry hosts. The reason there's presenting the moon in this masculine context is because the moon, in this instance, becomes the protector of the earth. He stands to protect and to do the mother's bidding when there's an intruder from outside coming into the household of the sun's family. Kingu, the moon, rises to the occasion, and he gets beat. He gets battered by Marduk, and his scars still remain. Tiamat, the Great Mother, is split into two parts. The upper part becomes the earth. Lower part is smashed into pieces, pieced together into a hammered bracelet, which becomes the asteroid belt. the wandering pieces and comets of the solar system that wander to and fro. The other planets of Tiamat, the other satellites, were taken, absorbed by Marduk, and pulled, extracted. Some became wandering planets, some joined Marduk. Kingu was then attached to the earth, and then given a blessing by the sun that you are to be the earth's protector. You're to stand by her side, to be her spouse and companion. And we see that when there's meteors, asteroids, comets, other things that come into the solar system, it's the moon that stands in the front, and its valorous way and takes the blow. Now, this origin story of the moon being masculine, ready to go to war on behalf of the mother, is told in the Babylonian Enuma Elish. But even before that, there are Sumerian origins of this story. And it wasn't until later in history, even ancient Egyptian times, when that story of the moon became diminished and the calendar of the sun became the main means of worship. The solar deities then rose onto the scene, where we get Ra, the sun god, Amun, the unseen. And the moon now starts to become this feminine role. And my purpose here in bringing this back and bringing this message is to bring a new message of an ancient memory that is told in our origins of the sacred masculine, of the protector of the moon, and how the moon was exalted by the Great Mother to be commander of the sun's family, to lead others, to bring order into the solar system, to bring order into the house. And from chaos, this was the firstborn. The firstborn was rightly agreed upon to hold that position. But then in history, we see that sometimes the firstborn is trampled upon, taken advantage of, and he loses that position. Not because he's not exalted by the Great Mother, but because of the jealousy and the bitterness and resentment of maybe other brothers and sisters in the family who want to hold that supreme position, the position of elitism and the position of power. But even Marduk was welcomed into the sun's family and recognized as a son of the sun. He, with remorse, says Marduk, when he looked back and he saw Tiamat in her broken halves, when he saw the belt, he looked to the sun, and with repentance and with tears in his eyes, he said, "Forgive me." And the sun blessed him with forgiveness and welcomed him into his family. They announced him supreme and said Amaru will hold the central position, and that he has a place in the solar system. But as history repeats itself, we go back to the prior times when the moon had valor. The moon was exalted. The moon held command. The moon held sway over the Lord of the waters being the Great Mother Tiamat of creation. And as we come back to this, I want to just ponder the masculine here, because the waters are creation. This is like the divine feminine, and the firstborn arises as the moon and granted great status and lordship. And as men in these days, as I see men lacking in this power of commandship, may we remember the moon and stand even in the face of adversity and in mystery.